Hi, good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. Oh, Rach is stream hopping. Awesome. Let's see. It's tea time with S.A. Crow. I've got English breakfast this morning because I still need to get some new teas. I'm thinking about getting a tea flight and trying something like that out. Hi, Armis. Does that work for you? It's good to see you. Hello. So it's chat time. For those of you in the know, and I am taking part in Camp NaNoWriMo. My puppy's tail has just taken out everything. Go lay down. Go lay down. What kinds of teas do I like? I really like just about everything. I'm not fond of licorice. That's one of the flavors I'm not really fond of. And some chais that have black pepper. But I will try anything on the show. We will try. Hi, Cool Gamer. It's good to see you. There's now a mess. Lay down. Lay down, AJ. I have two puppies. And AJ is my Black Lab Whippet mix. And she would much rather I be on the couch with her right now than over here talking to everybody. So it's day 17 of camp. So I have just hit a milestone. I finished the first act. So 10 chapters in the first act. It should have been 9, but I need to add an extra one. And I got about 1,200 words this morning. So thank you, Kay. Morning, Rita. Thank you, Kay, for helping me get those words this morning. You are awesome. I will probably write some more this afternoon because I should be at 17K today and to reach my goal. And I am at almost 3K, 13K, sorry. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rita. So, yeah. Let's pull our self-care card today and see what's in store for us. So here's the sketch today. I got these for us. Healthy body, healthy mind. Physical and emotional health are connected. A straightforward way to practice better self-care is to keep your body functioning well. Look at the list below and consider your needs. Jot down some ideas for physical changes you can make to your routine. Eat green. Go for a light jog. Get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Take a break when you need it. Book an annual checkup. Hug a loved one. Those are some great ideas. I don't jog, but I'm thinking about taking the for, a round. I don't want to say it right now because then it'll be a thing. So yeah, what are some things you do as a writer to keep yourself physically active? Because this career is very much of sitting. You sit and write, handwrite, or you sit and type. Rita says walking is good. Destiny, she thinks that walking is good too. Go lay down, ma'am. Go lay down. You need to go be with mama? Do you need to go be with mama? Destiny is my Black Lab Border Collie mix, and they are cray-cray. They are cray-cray. So one of the things I do to help keep me active most of the day is I do sprints. So 20 minutes of work, get up and move around, or finish a project and go walk, move around. And so I may be flipping over laundry, I may be cleaning, I may be taking care of Jen, I may be working with the puppies, I know she is not having this, whatever it is, whatever this is. But I kind of try to mix my other full-time job, into my daily routine of writing, so that way I get them both done throughout the day. So I really like the idea of setting a timer of 20 minutes, getting up, moving around, or moving around for 20 minutes and setting a timer and saying, okay, now I'm going to sit down. And that sort of keeps me moving throughout the day. I also have a exercise program that I'm doing where each day I'm doing something in particular. So along with a cleaning routine. So sometimes the cleaning routine acts as my exercise routine for the day. So like today, one of the things I'm going to be doing today is sweeping the whole house and mopping the whole house. And so that's a lot of arm work and sort of core torso movement. So that acts as part of my exercise because it's a nice size house. It's a 3-bedroom house. So there's a lot of floor. So what are some ways that you guys keep yourself active? Do you do arm stretches and hand exercises? Do you get up occasionally? Since my desk is upstairs, I do a lot of movement in the form of walking up and down those stairs. That is true. That is true. Yeah, we don't have stairs here. Thank goodness my knees. I don't know if they could take it. I don't know if my knees could take climbing up and down. But I also find if I get up and I do something like straighten up something or something like that, it helps keep the house clean. I found a wonderful YouTube channel called Hybrid Calisthenics, and I used his methods. Ooh, you will have to share that link with me. Send me a messenger or on Discord, and I will see about sharing that. That sounds awesome. Hey there, popping in to hit the like button. I'd stay, but got too much to get done and wouldn't be able to listen to you. Oh, thank you for booping the like button. I really appreciate that. And thank you for the writing sprints this morning, getting me going. I'm afraid I may need a power nap. I'm still getting over this cold, so if I sound a little crackly or stuffy, that's one of the reasons is I'm on the tail end of a cold. Poor Jen picked up the cold, so part of my morning was also making her some chicken and rice soup, so that way she can start to try to get better. So also we found a rowing machine that's wonderful for days when I don't feel like anything else. Oh yeah, that's nice. Jojo prefers a neighborhood walk, but I don't always feel up to that. True. I agree with you on there. The problem is we have a small window of time in which walking the puppos is feasible. Because during the summer it's too hot and I don't want their paws to burn. Because I'm sorry, in North Texas during the summer you can fry an egg on the concrete. It's terrifying. I wouldn't walk barefoot on the concrete. So I won't subject them to it. So we have, and then during the winter, it's very wet often. So sometimes I'll go outside and play with them outside. We have a big enough backyard that I can let them run. So don't worry about the puppos. They have space, and I do go out there and throw balls and sticks and spend some time with them out there. And for some reason, if I go out there, they want to show me that they're running around and doing their things. They show off like 2-year-olds, so which is hilarious. The other thing I did recently is I made a spring and summer hygge list. And I actually have done some things on that list, and I'm doing some things on that list. So I have my nice garden. Come summer, I will start to have to water twice a day. Tossing the link in the Discord. Oh, thank you very much. Let me see. All right. Here is the link she was talking about the hybrid calisthenics. I'm going to be checking that out myself. Gardening and cleaning are also exercises. That is true. That is true. So I've been trying to make my environment more spring-like because spring doesn't last very long in Texas. So we recently did a big major declutter, and I'm working on the garage while it's still cool enough to work in the garage, because there will become a point when I won't be able to work out there. It'll be too hot. So Hampton is very down to earth, and I like that. That sounds cool. I can't wait. He's the counter owner. Yeah. Awesome. So I'm very excited about this new book. We've got a little attraction going on. We've got a little bit of pushback from that, because of course it's going to be a fake romance. So I sort of have fake romance trope, forced intimacy, forced proximity. There's a few tropes that we're having in this book, which are always fun to play with and kind of subvert and things like that. But they also make you, there's a reason we like those things. So right now we're doing the whole fake romance issues. What is fake romance? Okay, the fake romance trope is where, for some reason, the characters have to pretend to be dating, or they have to be pretending to be married. So you'll find this occasionally in romance novels where they have, someone has to get married for inheritance reasons or for business reasons or for some reason, and so they pick someone. And in this case, they are going to fake date to flush out her stalker, because in most cases, about 80 to 90% of stalker cases, it's romantically induced. So it's someone who sees you as a romantic partner, and even though you don't know. And so one way is that they can flesh out a stalker is by having the person who's being stalked have a relationship, or the appearances of a relationship, to make the stalker so mad that they actually mess up and are able to be caught. So that's what they're trying to do, because they're erring on the side of statistics, which say that most stalking cases are going to be romantically have a romantic component to them. Our case is not, but that's the way it goes. And so I have a character that's my main character, Nate, is kind of floating through life right now. He's trying to learn how to be a civilian again. He's been in the Navy SEALs for so long that it's been a while since he's just been a civilian. So he's kind of floating around and he's really unsure of if this is what he wants to do with the rest of his life, if he wants to work with his buddies and co-own this business. And now he's got this case. And this is Emily's case. And she's only had one real adult relationship in her life. And the guy cheated on her and left her for the girl that he was cheating on her with. So she doesn't have a lot. Like they met because she was friends with one of his buddies' girlfriends. So it was very much of a case that she got to know him as an acquaintance and then as sort of a friend before they started dating. So she's never really gone out and done the dating scene. She's never used a dating app. She hasn't done any of that. And so this is new for her, using a dating app, which our security team has created a dating app for these instances that they can kind of control and give the appearance that it's, a real dating app. Well, it technically is a real dating app. It's just they have more control over who gets to contact a certain person. So this is new for her. And then this whole idea of dating someone who she's not really dating. And, will she be able to play the part? Or will she mess up and her stalker will know that she's messed up and therefore they won't, come out into the open. So that's where we are now. That is her coming to terms with that, and that she's got to fake date Nate, who is very gruff and a loner and standoffish. He's kind of been standoffish. And he really didn't want this this case anyway. He didn't want to be a lead on a case. So yeah. The problem is they're short-staffed and they kind of need Nate to step up and be a leader on a case. So it was inevitable. But yeah, they're fun to play with. I've really been enjoying bouncing them and messing with them. And so I do kind of an outline, but this time I was a little bit more loose with my outline because I knew there was something that I was going to find as I was writing. And so it's been fun. It really has been. I'm also using a writing app that I don't normally use. I normally use YWriter, and this time I'm using Wave Maker because I can access Wave Maker on other devices. So if need be, I could take my tablet and my keyboard, which is Bluetooth, up to the coffee shop and write there. Or I could take it with me on the trip if I need to, that I'm going on at the end of this month, and write on the trip. Hopefully I will not need to do that. But yeah, I am going to Louisiana to visit the boyfriend's family this month, at the end of the month. So that's exciting. And I'm also editing book 3 with my developmental editor, because we are going to be getting that to you as soon as possible. And speaking of books, let's go ahead and read the next chapter of The Fire Inside. So we are on chapter 7. This is on a chapter. If you want to hear any of the previous chapters, there is a playlist for The Fire Inside, 2 times. You can find that. If you would like to listen to my first book, there is a playlist of Tea Times Into the Fire. So check those playlists out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell so you can get notified of any of the events, because I will be making some more videos. Okay. Anna. I'm so tired of walking through these cold marble halls, impersonal as tombs. It sends shivers down my spine, and I almost expect to see the little metal plaques like in mausoleums. Instead, lawyers rush past. If it wasn't for Tony's large presence, they would knock me over in their rush. Lennon's talking to Leona outside the courtroom's large oak doors. He's in the same rumpled brown suit again. His musk brown hair desperately needs a haircut, and I wish he didn't have to go through this. It isn't fair for him to take any responsibility for what Sebastian did. I'll ask her if we can do this without him. Dragging him through this mess can't be good for him or his health. Landon, how are you doing? I ask as we walk up. The team is agitated. It feels like standing near a beehive. Tony picks up on it and gets a little closer. How does he do that without touching me? He was always so close to me. I've noticed the guys never reach out to me unless they have to, and always ask permission first. But it's different with Tony. His warmth surrounds me and gives me a measure of strength. I hate it. Anna, Lennon turns to me. Are you okay? You look like you haven't been sleeping well. How can I tell him I'm such a mess? Do I really look that bad? I haven't actually glanced in a mirror since. After a while, I realize I haven't answered Landon. Too lost in thought. Nightmares most nights. I'm more worried about you. Isn't there a way to do this without dragging Landon into it? I look at the rest of the team. No, I want to do this. I need to do the right thing. Landon insists. He's doing better today, less jittery than the last time. Anna, they won't let us include the evidence from the Dreyer case, Leona pipes up suddenly, because they're claiming it isn't connected to this one. And that's why the team feels so agitated. I didn't even expect that would work. Tony tenses beside me, and the ticking muscle in his jaw distracts me so much I miss the bailiff until he calls us in. My heart rate increases. Lennon and I will take the stand today before the closing remarks. I'll be the last witness on my side. We file into the courtroom, and the ceiling opens up to 15 feet, which feels strange after the 7-foot doorway. Landon is the first to be called to the stand. He talks about how he met Sebastian, that he was Landon's drug dealer for a time, how Sebastian told him about running the PR for my business and getting me clients and models. I can hardly believe my ears. Sebastian was dealing drugs? I didn't know him. He never breathed a word of it to me. What else was he doing that I didn't know about? I never asked where any of his money came from. It hadn't seemed like any of my business. Was he using my business for drug dealing? Landon admits he loaned Sebastian his car the day he kidnapped me, following it up with how he didn't know what the other had planned. Landon is cross-examined, and they bring up his drug abuse as evidence. He isn't the soundest character witness. The assessment is brutal, like his every flaw is being thrown up into his face to remind him how his testimony is worthless here. I can't help but wish we had left when I gave him an out. They let him go back to his seat. His eyes are devoid of hope, and he slowly shakes his head as if internally berating himself while shuffling back to his seat. As he comes near, I reach out my hand, and he takes it. When I squeeze him in reassurance, I hear Tony's sharp breath next to me. Giving Tony a questioning look, I lose myself in his eyes, and the rest of the room fades away until they call my name. Tony gives me a small nod, then, and I get up, making the walk to the box next to the judge. It's all a blur. my hand on the Bible, repeating words, sitting. I answer each question, but I'm not sure what to say. I peer out into the crowd of faces. Sebastian's brother Emmanuel is there, sitting behind him in the legal team. He's assessing me, his eyes following every move I make. I feel vulnerable under his stare. He must dominate a boardroom with it. We didn't talk about his family much. Apparently, we didn't talk about much of anything. I think they lost their father when they were young, and their mother struggled to be a single parent. How little did I know about the man I spent years with, slept next to most nights? How could I ever think I know anybody ever again? Can I really trust my judgment with other people? I continue to answer questions. Sometimes the judge interjects and the lawyers get flustered. One of them even yells at me, but I wait calmly until they repeat the question. It goes like this, and then they tell me I can go. I walk back to Tony and sit beside him, eyes falling to my hands folded in my lap. I try to concentrate on the heat of him next to me until it spreads over me and my muscles unknot a little as my breathing slows. We're dismissed out into the cold halls of the courthouse after each team gives their closing remarks and the jury heads to the room to decide things. I can't seem to take a deep enough breath. The usual bright hallway dims like clouds covering the sun. I'm slipping back into my nightmares as terror grips me. Suddenly, Tony's face fills what's left of my tunneling vision. Anna, take a breath. Let it out slowly, he says from a long way off. Can can I put my arms around you to hold you up? Nod if that's okay. I don't want to fall and embarrass myself. Forcing my body to cooperate, I nod my head. He takes my upper arms in his large, warm hands. I relax into his embrace, letting him take some of my weight and continue to calm myself until the light returns and I can finally take a full breath easily. Do you think you can stand on your own now? He asked me. Yes, thank you. My voice shakes as I see my surroundings. The lawyers, Emmanuel on his cell, Landon coming closer now that I'm back on my feet. Can I get you some water? He wants to know and returns with a small cup of water from a nearby fountain once I've nodded. After a moment, he hands me a piece of slightly damp paper crumpled in his hand. This is my number. If there's anything I can do, please let me know. Landon seemed sheepish, but he reminds me of Walt, if a bit more lost. I will, thank you. Walt was the only one in the group I would confide in when they were under my father's command during high school years. He knew I didn't have many girlfriends. Being a Navy brat, you didn't get attached to people because you knew you could leave at any moment. Even though Dad left me with my aunt after Mom passed, I still didn't trust I would stay long. My answer seems to have settled Landon a bit, and we wait on the uncomfortable wooden benches until the bailiff calls us back in. After we're all seated, the judge asks the jury foreperson to stand and tell the court what their decision is. The only word I hear is guilty, but it echoes over and over in my head. He can't get me anymore. I never have to see him again. At some point, they dismiss us because everyone stands. I rise and follow everyone out. My legal team is buzzing for a different reason now, and I leave them to their victory. I need to get away from the jittery feeling of their excitement. Tony ushers me along the hallway, pulling his phone out and tapping out a message to the guys. Emmanuel rushes past us and bumps into Tony. He doesn't even look up to apologize, but his anger is understandable. I just sent his brother to jail. Tony watches Emmanuel's retreating back, his muscles tense. I want to go home now, please, I say, hoping to distract him from whatever just happened. He smiles down at me and follows me to the elevators. I barely remember the car ride home. Suddenly, we've stopped moving and we're in the parking lot of my apartment. Tony does something with his phone and then comes around to open my car door. Walt stands in my doorway watching the parking lot, street, and nearby freeway. He lets me pass and talks with Tony for a few moments after shutting the door. I collapse in my favorite chair and put my head in my hands. Tony follows me into the room. Before I know it, all of my pent up bitterness roils to the surface and overflows from my lips. Who would have thought you rejecting me that day would lead to this? His bark of laughter shocks me into action. I don't remember how I got there, but I'm pounding Tony's chest with my fists, tears streaming down my face. How dare he laugh at my pain, at the pain he caused? Doesn't he understand he's the reason I'm here? The reason I don't even feel like a human being anymore? He lets me continue to beat at his chest until I lose all strength, my legs crumpling under me. Can I help you to the chair? I need you to nod for me. There's a bit of strain to his voice. I nod, and he gently leads me back to the chair and holds my forearms so I can lower myself to the cushion. The burst of energy took everything I had left. I know him well enough to sense his jaw clench above me as he steps back before speaking. You have no idea how badly I wanted to be with you, do you? Even if the timing was all wrong, I was under your father's command, still working my way through my military career. He moves behind the couch with a distraught laugh, escaping him, turning his back on me as he continues with a gesture in my direction. You are fresh out of school with an amazing opportunity to take your life in directions I wouldn't be able to show you. You had every right to figure out who you were going to be and find the right person for you, even if that person wasn't me. He comes back around the couch and sits on the edge of the seat, hands clasping together between his knees. How could I have said yes to you? You were waiting for me to give you an out, to promise you a future together, but we would have been breaking every rule in the book. I would have lost my job, my home, everything I'd been working towards if I even hinted at a relationship with you, and you know that. I realized for the first time he had known I'd been holding my decision to go to France on not on whether we had a future with him without me even breathing a word of it. What kind of future would that have been for you? He runs his hands through his hair. I was always away on mission after mission. I lived on base in a tiny room I shared with two other hairy men. What kind of life would that have been for you, moving from base to base? You had that growing up, and all I could think about was how I would watch you wait, dreading to be uprooted all over again. You would have been all alone, with no information about where I was, and if I would even make it back to you. I can hardly process what he's saying. It's the most he's said to anyone since he arrived, and it feels like years of information finally being released, like a pressure valve. His fists clenched, the skin turning white from the strain. I couldn't do that to you. Couldn't take you away from the amazing opportunity you had in front of you, trade it for the possibility of coming back to you in a flag draped box, if at all. He rises from the couch again, moving over to the front door to peer out the peephole before returning, and I recognize the pain on his face before he speaks. By letting you go, I got to see you blossom into the exceptional woman you've become, even if it's from all the way across the globe. He paces a line in the carpet runner behind the couch. I've thought about you every day since you left, living the life out in the world you always deserve to have, running a successful business, and I thanked what little luck I might have that I didn't drag you down into a military life of loneliness and heartache. So tell me, how come you even think my rejection all those years ago was the first step to this? I have no answer for him, only staring and blinking as he stops and finally stares right back, his eyes misty and his fist balled at his sides. But I guess you can keep blaming me if you have to. If hating me helps you get through what's happening to you, I can take it, because it won't be the hardest thing I ever had to do. He turns away, pacing again. I watch him with awe. I promise to keep you safe. And when you're as safe as I can manage, you can tell me to go. But I want you to know I've always wanted nothing more than to hold you close, kiss you, tell you I've always be there for you, because it's true, no matter what. And when you figure out how to get back to that amazing, independent woman we all know you can be, I'll still be waiting. He leaves then, turns and walks outside as misery fills his eyes. It's all I can do to sit here and absorb everything that he said. I try to replay the day and again in my head, but for the first time it's from his point of view. As the images merge, I can't see one version of the sequence of events from another. I abruptly stand and decide to purge my house, get rid of things that remind me of Sebastian. I need a clean slate. I know Tony will be back, and we can try and talk again. Walking to my bedroom, I open the door, placing my hands on my hips, and take stock of the room. Framed photos of Sebastian and me in France are everywhere. I grab them first and head back to the back door to make a pile of things to take to the trash bin in the parking lot. Walt watches me from the living room, and I realize he heard the entire conversation. His deep brown eyes filled with understanding. Opening my closet, I pull clothes Sebastian left behind from hangers. Walt comes in to leave me a few trash bags and a bottle of cold water before letting me take care of it on my own. Don't overdo it, okay? I don't want to have to take you to the emergency room. It took me hours to purge every single thing that reminds me of that man. With the last of the stuff on the back steps, I watch Walt haul the filled trash bags to the green dumpster. Tony hasn't returned, and I can't blame him. I've been lumping him in with Sebastian. How could I ever compare the two of them? I've let his rejection be a part of my life for years, even though I was with Sebastian. Only now I realize I hurt Tony, and I'm not sure I can fix it. Walt returns and faces the freeway. Slowly he lowers himself onto the step below me, surveying the slow-moving rush hour traffic. His shoulders hunch. He coughs, and then his quiet voice fills the space in my thoughts. My soccer coach abused me as a child, he confesses. It lasted for years before someone finally told my parents. I sit still and let him continue when he's ready. I'm honored that he would share this trauma with me, trust me enough to be vulnerable with me. Tony mourned your leaving, you know. He knew it would have cost him his career to have a relationship with his commanding officer's daughter. He didn't have a backup plan to take care of you both if it happened. Believe me, he would have wanted more than just dating. He would have wanted it all. You in the white dress and everything. Walt stretches his legs out in front of him before going on. To become a SEAL takes everything you've got. It's the hardest thing physically and mentally you could ever do. It's all in, all the time, and he almost gave it all up just for the chance to say yes to you. But the last thing he wanted was to hold you back. Walt's voice fades out, and we watch the cars inch along the highway in silence. I married my high school sweetheart after basic, he said. She hated when I tried out for the buds and the SEAL Pro training. She was pregnant when my first mission came, and I couldn't tell her where I was going. I couldn't even give her a way to contact me. She left when my daughter was 3. Woke up one morning when I was on assignment in just some jungle hellhole, took my daughter to my parents, and never came back. Last thing she ever gave me was divorce papers. I never knew Walt had a daughter or was once married. Who kept you from losing it when you found out she was gone? Walt would have worried about his wife. He would have tried to fix it. Tony. At first, I thought she was missing and almost went AWOL when my family couldn't get a hold of her after she didn't pick up our daughter that night. But she had cleared out the bank accounts, packed up her things, took her car. It was clear she left of her own free will. He gazes off, watching the sunset over the bridge. I never thought about what he would have been giving up to go on a date with me, I finally admit, realizing how self-absorbed I've been is sobering. I've only considered how everything affected me, never giving a thought to anyone else's pain or wants. He'll be back soon enough, and you can take the chance to get to know him and who you've both become. He gives me a grin. Now, let's get back inside before I die out here of heat exhaustion. A sandwich peers in front of me. There's no telling how long I've been drifting in my thoughts on my private thoughts in my private chair. Walt waits patiently for me to acknowledge the offering. My stomach growls as I consider the food, and I realize I'm practically voracious. Thank you, Walt. I needed this. I take the plate from his hands. Once I bite into it, I sigh. I can't remember the last time I ate anything of substance. I need to get back on track with my life. My mind cycles through plans and tasks as I finish eating. Walt's phone beeps. A few seconds later, Tony walks into the apartment through the interior hall door. He looks sheepish as he apologizes with sorry. Hi, I reply in a small voice, not sure where we stand. Food. Walt brings 2 sandwiches over to him with a knowing smile on his face that Tony returns, and he follows him around the couch where they both sit and work on their sandwiches. Pull out my journal and begin revising my lists and plans, scrapping some lines and moving more important ones. My mind runs a mile a minute. The autumn line of lingerie needs to be put out as soon as possible or I'll miss critical sales. I need 6 more designs before I can send the lot to the makers. Then there's model searches, photo shoots, advertisements. I desperately need to hire an assistant. My phone text message alert brings me out of my planning. Unlocking it, I smile at Landon's name. I entered his number into my phone after purging the house earlier and sent him a text so he would have mine. Landon, Anna, thank you for helping me turn my life around. I'm getting into a drug program. I leave today. The news makes me smile, widen, and I type a quick reply. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. How long will you be there? Landon, 90 days. Me, sounds like a super program. What are your plans once you're out? Landon, I have a job waiting for me when I get out, and it comes with an apartment. I'm getting a new start. Me, this is the best news, Landon. Be safe. Landon, thank you. See you when I get back. Me, see you. I announce Landon's news to the room as I put my phone down and turn a new page in my journal. Definitely going to be need assistant. Excellent. I wish him all the luck, Tony replies. I agree. He deserves a chance. They both go back to what they had been doing. I watch Tony make a bed on the couch while Walt cleans the kitchen. I can't think of what to say to Tony, how to apologize for my behavior without it sounding hollow. Instead, I let it go for now. I'll find a way soon. So that was chapter 7. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get the books, my links are down below. If you are a writer and want to join my writing group on the Wings for Writers, links for that are down below. Also, links to some of the great writers that I'm friends with, like Rach and some others who host sprints are on there. Hey, Ms. Campo, I just finished the chapter. Oh, thank you. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. I will be back Friday morning with writing sprints, and I will be back next Monday with our next chapter. So I hope to see you then. Take care, everybody, and have a fantastic week.